In the year 1492, a brave sailor named Christopher Columbus set sail across the Atlantic Ocean. His journey would forever change the course of history. He arrived in a land that Europeans had never known before, what would later become part of the Americas. But long before his arrival, this land was already home to many Native American civilizations. Years passed. In 1607, a small group of English settlers arrived in North America and built a fragile colony called Jamestown. Life was incredibly difficult. Food was scarce, winters were harsh, and survival was uncertain. Yet the dream of a new beginning kept them going. Slowly, more settlers arrived. Villages turned into towns, and towns grew into colonies. Eventually, 13 British colonies stretched along the eastern coast of North America. But dreams of freedom began to grow in the hearts of the colonists. Britain ruled the colonies from across the ocean and imposed heavy taxes on them. The colonists felt this was unfair. They had no voice in the British government, yet they were forced to follow its rules. Tension grew. Then in 1776, a bold decision changed everything. The colonies declared their freedom in a powerful document known as the United States Declaration of Independence. One of the key writers of this declaration was Thomas Jefferson. But freedom would not come easily. A long and difficult war began, the American Revolutionary War. Against a powerful empire, the colonists fought bravely under the leadership of George Washington. After years of struggle and sacrifice, the colonies won their independence. A new nation was born, the United States of America. But the young nation soon faced a painful division. The country was split over the issue of slavery. Southern states wanted to keep it, while many in the North believed it was wrong. This conflict eventually erupted into the deadly American Civil War. At the center of this storm stood President Abraham Lincoln. Lincoln believed the nation must remain united and that slavery must end. After years of brutal fighting, the war ended in 1865. Slavery was abolished, but the nation mourned when Lincoln was tragically assassinated. Still, America continued to grow. Railroads crossed the continent, cities rose from the plains. Factories transformed the economy. Millions of immigrants arrived, hoping to build better lives. In the 20th century, the United States became a major force on the global stage, fighting in conflicts such as World War I and World War II. But the struggle for equality was far from over. In the 1960s, a powerful movement for civil rights emerged. One of its most inspiring voices was Martin Luther King Jr. He spoke of a dream that one day people would be judged not by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. His words moved millions and helped shape a more equal society. Today, the story of America continues. It is a story of courage, a story of conflict and change, and above all, a story of people who believed that freedom and opportunity were worth fighting for. The Civil War had ended, slavery was abolished, but the story of America was far from over. After the war, the nation began rebuilding itself. Railroads stretched across the continent, connecting distant lands and bringing new opportunities. Cities grew taller, industries expanded, and millions of immigrants arrived from Europe and other parts of the world, each carrying dreams of a better future. Factories roared with machines, and America slowly transformed into an industrial powerhouse. But the 20th century brought new challenges. In 1914, a massive conflict erupted in Europe. At first, the United States stayed out of it, but eventually, America joined the fight in what became known as World War I. The war ended in 1918, but peace didn't last long. Only 2 decades later, the world was once again thrown into chaos with World War II. After the surprise attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941, the United States entered the war. American soldiers fought across Europe and the Pacific. After years of brutal battles, the war finally ended in 1945. The United States emerged as one of the most powerful nations in the world, but power brought new responsibilities. Soon, a tense global rivalry began between the United States and the Soviet Union, an era known as the Cold War. It was a time of fear, nuclear weapons, and competition. Yet it was also a time of incredible progress. In 1969, the world watched in amazement as astronauts from the spacecraft Apollo 11 landed on the moon. One of those astronauts, Neil Armstrong, stepped onto the lunar surface and spoke the famous words, That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. Meanwhile, back home, another battle was being fought, the fight for civil rights. Millions of African Americans demanded equality and justice. Leading this movement was the powerful voice of Martin Luther King Jr. Through peaceful protests and inspiring speeches, he helped change the conscience of a nation. America continued to evolve through the decades, facing economic struggles, social changes, and technological revolutions. Then, in 2001, tragedy struck. Terrorist attacks shook the nation during the September 11 attacks. Nearly 3,000 lives were lost, and the world watched in shock. Yet even in the face of tragedy, Americans came together with resilience and determination. Today, the United States remains a diverse nation of more than 300 million people, coming from different cultures, languages, and backgrounds. Its history is not perfect. It is filled with triumphs and mistakes, victories and struggles. But that is what makes the story of America so powerful. It is the story of people searching for freedom, people fighting for equality, and generations working to build a better future.